An open marriage will save us. You're just too insecure to see it, she scoffed. So I let her save us alone, filed for divorce, and disappeared. Now she's desperately tries to come back, but I feel absolutely nothing. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I'm not the kind of guy who ever thought he'd end up on Reddit. I work a regular job, live below my means, and had what I thought was a stable marriage. We didn't scream at each other. We didn't cheat. We had a joint calendar, a shared grocery list, and a stupid Sunday morning routine that involved burnt pancakes and her reading the headlines out loud to me while I pretended to care. Her name's Vanessa. We were together 8 years, married for 5. She was finishing up her master's when we met, and I supported her through all of it, both financially and emotionally. She was the kind of woman who got stressed if her coffee order was wrong, and I was the guy who'd fix it without making a fuss. That's how we worked. Or so I thought. In the beginning, she used to talk about how much she admired my consistency. "You're so grounded," she'd say. "I need that." I was the guy who brought structure to her chaos, who made sure her tires were rotated and her tuition was paid on time. I was reliable, and for a long time, I thought that was enough. The changes started slow. First, she stopped asking me to pick her up from work. Then she started going out more on weekends, always with vague explanations. Just drinks with some coworkers, or Trish needs girl time. No big deal. I didn't think much of it. But then the new language started. "Have you ever thought about how unhealthy monogamy really is?" she asked one night while folding laundry, like she was commenting on the weather. I laughed. Thought she was joking. She wasn't. Over the next few weeks, she started dropping words like non-traditional, fluid relationships, evolved connection. She sent me a podcast episode called Rewriting the Marriage Script and said it really opened her mind. I listened to 10 minutes before shutting it off. The host sounded like someone who'd burned through 3 marriages and decided he was just smarter than everyone else. One night, she came home buzzed from a birthday party I hadn't been invited to. I was already in bed. She sat on the edge and said, "You know, I read that people in open marriages report higher satisfaction. More trust, even. Isn't that wild?" I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. She smiled like she was trying to warm me up to the idea. I felt cold anyway. That was the first moment I knew something was wrong. Not suspicious wrong. Not yet, but off. Something had shifted. She wasn't talking with me anymore. She was testing me. Floating trial balloons. Seeing how much I'd take. Looking back, I don't know how I stayed so calm. Maybe I didn't want to believe it. Maybe I was still hoping it would blow over. That she was just going through a phase. Turns out, it was me who'd been in a phase of denial. About a week after the laundry comment, I came home from work to find the dining table set. Candles. Wine. That overpriced Thai place she only ordered from on special occasions. She was in a dress. Not lingerie, not seductive, just intentional. Too intentional. I didn't sit. I just looked at her and asked, "What's going on?" She smiled like I was a child she had to explain the world to. "Can we just sit and eat first?" We ate. She talked about her day. I nodded and didn't hear a word. My body was in the room, but my head was already miles away. I knew this wasn't about dinner. Something was coming, and she was patting it with spring rolls and jasmine rice. Finally, as she poured herself another glass of wine, she sighed like she'd just completed some emotional labor. "I want us to consider an open marriage." She said it slowly, carefully, like she was guiding me through a sensitive topic. I didn't flinch. I didn't speak. I just stared at her. She mistook my silence for an invitation. "I've been doing a lot of reading," she continued. "There's this study that shows couples in open marriages report higher levels of trust and intimacy. They choose each other every day, rather than just staying together out of obligation." Still, I said nothing. She leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice softening. "An open marriage will save us. You're just too insecure to see it." There it was. The line. I looked at her for a long time. Not angry, just stunned. Not because of what she said. I think deep down, I already knew it was coming. But the way she said it. Smug. Self-righteous. Like she was offering me some enlightened version of love I was too primitive to grasp. "You already found someone, didn't you?" I said quietly. She blinked. "No. I mean, I've talked to people. But nothing's happened." I nodded once. "You sure about that?" "I haven't slept with anyone. she snapped, suddenly on defense. But even if I had, the fact that you're reacting like this just proves my point. You think love means ownership. That's toxic. I pushed my chair back. Slowly. Stood up. I'm not doing this, I said. She stood, too. Doing what? This. You framing betrayal as evolution. You treating me like I'm backwards for not wanting to be publicly humiliated. She scoffed. This isn't about humiliation. You're making it about you, as usual. I'm trying to save this marriage. By sleeping with other people? It's not about sex. No, it's about you getting bored and needing someone else to make you feel interesting. And when that person isn't me, you call it growth. That hit. Her mouth opened, then shut. You said you wanted a partner, I said. You had one. I've been in your corner for 8 years. And now you want to trade that for new attention and call it intimacy. Fine. But don't gaslight me into thinking I'm the problem because I won't play along. I just don't want to look back at my life and feel like I didn't live, she muttered. Then go live. I left the dishes on the table. She didn't follow me. That night, I slept in the guest room. Not because we were fighting, because the marriage was already over. And deep down, we both knew it. I didn't argue with her after that night. I didn't accuse her of anything or go through her phone. I didn't throw a tantrum or demand she pick me. That would have given her the drama she clearly wanted. Instead, I went silent. Not cold, just removed. The next morning, she made coffee like nothing happened. Chatted about how her podcast was getting so real lately. I just nodded and left for work early. That week, I met with a lawyer. Quietly. No threats, no warnings. Just questions. We had no kids, no shared property beyond the apartment lease, and a few joint accounts. Clean break. The paperwork was simpler than I expected. Emotionally, it wasn't. I'd loved this woman. I'd built my entire adult life around her. And now, she was sitting in our apartment sending flirty texts to men she met in comment sections, telling herself it was enlightenment, not self-sabotage. By Friday, I was done pretending. I came home with a folder in my bag, and I asked her to sit down. She was halfway through applying lipstick, probably getting ready to go out with the girls. Can we not do this right now? She groaned. I have plans. We need to talk, I said, calm and flat. She rolled her eyes but sat on the couch like she was doing me a favor. I took out the papers and placed them on the coffee table. Her face didn't change at first. She just stared at them, blinking. What is this? Divorce paperwork. She laughed. Like full-on laughed. You're actually serious? I told you. If you want freedom, take it. I'm not standing in your way. Oh my God, she said, standing up and pacing. You're really going to end our marriage because I suggested something progressive? You're so threatened by anything you can't control. I'm ending it because you already did. You just didn't have the guts to call it what it was. She folded her arms. So you're just giving up? No conversation, no compromise. We had the conversation. You said an open marriage would save us, and I said I'm not interested in being disrespected while you explore. You know what? She snapped. You're proving exactly why I had to bring this up. You're rigid, boring, emotionally unavailable, and still not sleeping with other people while married. But maybe that's just me being insecure, right? She threw her hands up. Fine. Go file your little papers. I'll sign whatever you want. But don't come crawling back when you realize no one else will put up with your emotional constipation. I just nodded. That's what I thought, she muttered. You'll be back. They always come back. I won't. That stopped her. I looked her in the eye. You want to feel alive again? Go ahead. But you'll do it alone. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't slam the door. I packed a small bag that night, left the rest behind, and walked out with the same calm she once praised me for. Funny how quiet feels different when you're the one being left with it. I moved into a small one-bedroom across town. Nothing fancy, just mine. Quiet. Clean. Uncomplicated. The first night alone was weird. I didn't sleep much. Not because I missed her. That part had already started dying months ago. It was the silence. The stillness. No background commentary from her phone. No clinking wine glasses. No podcast hosts rambling about reclaiming feminine energy. Just space. And for the first time in a long time, I realized how peaceful that space could be. I didn't block her right away. I muted her. Let her texts come in like static I didn't need to hear. For the first few days, she didn't send any. I think she expected me to crack. To beg. To say I'd reconsider. I didn't. By the end of the first week, she sent one text. So I guess this is really happening? I didn't answer. A few days later, you seriously just walked away? After everything. Still nothing. That's when the tone started changing. I started hearing from mutual friends. Not the real ones, just the orbiters. The ones who believed in staying neutral. She's going through a lot right now. She thought you'd come around eventually. She didn't think you'd actually leave. I told them the same thing every time. That was the last line. She crossed it. And I don't look back once I'm out. And then the updates started trickling in. Apparently, the guy she was just talking to, he lost interest the minute he realized I was actually out of the picture. The moment there was no husband to rebel against, no tension to exploit, he disappeared. She tried dating apps next, leaning into her freedom. Her words, not mine. According to a coworker who bumped into her, she looked exhausted and kinda desperate. I didn't ask for more. The apartment we used to share? Too expensive for one person. She tried to get a roommate, but no one wants to live with someone who posts 3 breakup quotes a day on Instagram. I heard through the grapevine that she stopped going out. Then she moved back in with her parents. Apparently, they don't understand her journey either. Meanwhile, I got promoted. I started going to the gym again. I read real books. I made actual meals instead of eating takeout every night because she wasn't in a cooking mood. There was no dramatic transformation. No revenge glow up. I didn't find someone new or suddenly become a millionaire. I just became myself again. Steady, present, unbothered. I started sleeping better. Then, 3 weeks after I filed the paperwork, I got her first real voicemail. Hey, I've been thinking. About us. About everything. I know I didn't handle things well. I thought what I was doing would make us stronger. I really believed that. But maybe I was wrong. I miss you. I miss the quiet. I miss the way you made things feel safe. Please call me back. I just want to talk. I didn't. I saved the message, though, not to replay it, but to remind myself exactly what it sounds like when a fantasy breaks. It didn't take long after that voicemail for her to show up. I came home from work one evening, gym bag slung over my shoulder, headphones still in, and there she was, sitting on the steps outside my building like this was some indie movie reunion scene. No makeup, hoodie and leggings, pale and visibly anxious. When she saw me, she jumped up like she'd been rehearsing this. Can we talk? She said. I didn't answer. I just walked past her and unlocked the front door. Seriously? You're just gonna ignore me? I turned back. I told you. This ended when you decided you needed other people to feel whole. That's not fair, she snapped, stepping closer. You know I never cheated. I didn't even do anything yet. You wanted an open marriage, Vanessa. You mocked me when I didn't go along with it. That is doing something. She crossed her arms, suddenly shifting gears. I was trying to save us. You're acting like I wanted to hurt you. I wanted to grow with you, evolve. You wanted a backup plan, I said flatly. And now that it blew up in your face, I'm not here to help you glue it back together. Her voice cracked. So that's it. You're just done. I've been done. For a second, she looked stunned. Then the rage kicked in. Wow, you're so cold. No wonder I felt alone in this marriage. You think being stable makes you a man? All it did was make you boring. No passion, no edge, just safety. That's all you ever offered. And now you don't even have that. I replied. Calm. Final. She flinched like I'd slapped her. You don't get to say that, she whispered. I tilted my head. You said it first. You just used fancier words. She stood there, trembling, trying to find something cruel enough to say that would undo what just happened. But there was nothing left to break. I walked inside and shut the door. She didn't call again that night. I thought that was the end of it. But like most people who live in delusion, Vanessa didn't let go quietly. Over the next few days, she sent a stream of messages. You can't just walk away from 5 years like that. I know you still love me. You're just scared. This isn't you. You're not this heartless. I thought you were better than this. And finally, you win. I'll do anything. Just come home. I didn't reply to any of them. I had nothing left to say. Nothing I wanted to hear. The last I heard, she was working part-time at a boutique and sleeping on a mattress in her parents' guest room. Her mom reportedly confiscated her copy of Polysecure. Her dad keeps telling her to stop acting like a podcast host and get a real job. Meanwhile, I wake up early, brew coffee, stretch, read, work, walk, sleep well, No drama. No guilt. No walking on eggshells. No wondering who she's texting during dinner. Just peace. I didn't need to win. I just needed to stop playing a game I never signed up for. And in the quiet that followed, I realized something she never did. An open marriage can't save you when one person's already slammed the door shut and walked away without looking back. Thanks for watching.